Scarlett gave Julian a kiss, and he offered her a ride in his car. Wow, what a romantic start. What's the video about? Verbs with two objects. Nice to see you. Let's dive in. This video is about verbs with two objects. First of all, let's talk about the usage. Here we go. There are some verbs that are followed by two objects. There is an indirect object, you ask to whom, it's a person, and a direct object, you ask whom or what. It is often a thing. Examples of these verbs are to give somebody something, to offer somebody something, to tell somebody something, to promise, to send, to show, to teach, to lend somebody something. Wow, there are two objects. Now, let's look at the word order. What comes first? The order is often in a sentence. Subject, verb, indirect object, and direct object. Note, the indirect object is placed directly next to the verb, and that's often the person. Like in this example, Leah always tells her friend Scarlett her secrets. Magdalena gave Leon a kiss. Luisa showed Louise her room. That's not very hard, but there are some variations. Here we go. The indirect object usually comes before the direct object. However, it can also be placed after the direct object. In this case, it must be followed by the word to. Compare. She can send me a letter. First the indirect object, then the direct one. Now we change it around. She can send a letter to me. If there is the direct object directly after the verb, you have to add to in front of the indirect object in front of the person. Now, what about if there are two pronouns? If both objects are pronouns, you can only use the structure with to. Here are the examples. Tom gave it to her. It and her are two pronouns. I promised it to him. In this case, you need the to. She gave it her sounds terrible and is wrong. She gave it to her. But there are also constructions with for. Instead of to, some verbs have for. For example, buy something for somebody, cook something for someone, and also bake, fetch, only one fetch, and make. Marlene made a cake for Hannah. Leon bought some flowers for Magdalena. It's not Marlene made a cake to Hannah, bought some flowers to Magdalena, but for Magdalena. And there are verbs that always are followed with to, that must be followed with to explain something to somebody and to describe and to say. You can't use these verbs with for. She described the book to him. She explained it to him, and not she explained it for him. That's incorrect. To describe, to say, to explain are always followed with to. Summary. This video was about verbs that are followed by to object. There is an indirect object that is often a person, and the direct object that is often a thing. Normally, the indirect object, the person, follows or comes directly after the verb, and then it is followed by the direct object, the thing. She gave him a kiss. But you can also change it the other way around, and then you need to. She gave a kiss to him. If there are two pronouns, you always have to add to. She told it to him. And there are cases when you need for, like bake or cook. She made a cake for him. He cooked a delicious meal for her. In this case, you can't use to. But there are verbs that are always followed with to, like explain, describe or say. Das war's. Wenn dir das Video gefallen hat, Daumen hoch. Wenn du sagst, nö, wusste ich schon alles, langweilig, Daumen nach unten. Ansonsten sage es allen weiter. Das Video darf gerne geteilt werden. Lass gerne einen Kommentar da. Noch mehr freue ich mich über ein Abo des Kanals, wenn du überraschenderweise noch keines hättest. Übungen findest du wie gewohnt auf www.grammarbox.de und noch mehr Übungen im English Grammar Workbook. Ein Video dazu findest du oben angepinnt. In diesem Sinne, danke fürs Zusehen, bis zum nächsten Mal und ciao for now.